Actually, you know what, mate? England doesn't just deserve its own Spider-Man. It deserves an entire dedicated universe full of heroes and villains. Recently, we hashed out an outline for Britain's very own Spidey. And now we're going to fill in our new setting with some other famous Marvel heroes by recreating them for the United Kingdom. We're going to revive Marvel UK in our own way, and we're starting off with a cool one. I've taken Iron Man, Captain America and Thor and blended them all into one character. This fella, let's just call him The Avenger, and he's a medieval knight. The mightiest in all of Arthur's kingdom, and the noblest knight to ever live, doing what was right, simply because it was right. Until, sadly, he was petrified, and I mean petrified like turned to stone, not just scared, by a dark sorceress. Hundreds of years pass in the blink of an eye for the statue, and then, in the modern day, he's suddenly freed. But his statue form was hidden away in a vault of magical artifacts owned by MI6. Did you know MI6 is apparently real? I honestly thought it was made up for James Bond, like S.H.I.E.L.D. or Kingsman. So, all of a sudden, this medieval man is roaming about a top secret storage facility, so of course the agents are going to get on his ass. Now, MI6 is absolutely our S.H.I.E.L.D. equivalent, and they're going to have a big part to play themselves, but their director, this lady, let's call her Daphne after the woman from Frasier. She wants the Avenger recaptured immediately. But the dude has magic. His arcane powers are linked to the country of Britain itself, to the point where his sword might just be Excalibur. His powers include enhanced strength and stamina, of course, but also some wilder stuff from his Thor side, like using his sword to cut open portals to anywhere else in Britain, or summoning 3 ghost lions to maul his enemies. The Avengers reawakening forces MI6 to contact England's new heroes for the first time, like Liverpool's Spider-Man, London's Fantastic Four, and the mysterious Brotherhood of X-Men to hunt the Knight down, because they know nothing of the Avenger. They thought it was just some statue that set off the magical Geiger counters and all of a sudden it's come to life. All they know is they found the statue in an abandoned castle that legend says belonged to a dark witch, so they think he could be a danger to the public. Avenger has to evade capture until he can figure out where he is, what's happening, and what became of his beloved kingdom as he battles enemies old and new, including that same witch who petrified him long ago, now in the modern day. So he's got Captain America's virtues and man out of time origins, Iron Man's aesthetic and knight in shining armour theme, and Thor's magic and links to another realm. A running joke could be people mentioning that 60s TV show The Avengers, and he's just not getting the reference. I'm not giving him a set city because he'd be more like a wandering hero going all over the UK righting wrongs, like what Captain America did during his 300s issues. He's going to travel the country looking for injustices to fight. Get on to this. The Fantastic Four are originally a team of elite SAS soldiers sent to capture a mad terrorist known as the Molecule Man. Only when they finally track him down, they're attacked and defeated by an army of monsters. Captured, the entire squad are experimented on by the lunatic Molecule Man, whose main goal is to shed his mortal flesh and ascend to godhood. But to do that, he needs to discover what makes a man, and how to manipulate it. So he slowly breaks down his prisoner's genetic makeup and rebuilds it over and over again, adding in new factors, including H2O, chlorine trifluoride, which Google tells me is super flammable, silica, so like rocks, and bombarding one with every kind of light in the electromagnetic spectrum. You can clearly see what I'm doing here. Eventually, the squad only has 4 survivors, each now mutated thanks to the new perversions Molecule Man has put in their DNA. The gruff captain, who's now got water-like skin and control over liquid, has managed to keep his mind this far into the torture, and he's ever vigilant to potential ways to escape, but not without his crew. His second in command, who keeps flickering in and out of existence because of the unique radiation sickness now embedded in her cells. She keeps accidentally shifting out of the visible spectrum and is trying to control it so she too can break out. The tough guy of the group has had his DNA merged with bits and pieces of different elements, from stone to gold to steel. Now he's this living monolith of a man whose new thick exterior can't settle on what it wants to be. And the newest recruit, whose body now burns perpetually. She's trying to stay positive for the sake of the squad, but it's wearing a bit thin. The first mission is obviously escaping, but Molecule Man still has his monster army, so if the four are gonna escape and survive, they're gonna have to work together. Sadly, we've lost the family part of Fantastic Four in this, but maybe the theme could be the transition from work colleagues to actual friends instead. These hard soldiers could slowly open up to each other and become genuinely close. I've purposefully made them all more freakish than the originals. They've all got a clear tip-off that they're mutated, like how our Human Torch can't flame off. And I've went deep into that theory of the Fantastic Four all being elemental. Being a military squad, their adventures would be worldwide, but the base would be in London, as MI6 would be keeping a close eye on the new freaky friends once they make it back to England. For the X-Men, I've never been a huge fan of them just waking up and all of a sudden they've got mutant powers. I think it's a bit lazy. So the twist of this one is they're all descendants of English folklore figures who've suddenly manifested powers based on their ancestors or heritage. I've named them the Brotherhood of X-Men, not only because they used to be normal people, and now they're not, so they're X-Men, but I've always thought Brotherhood of Mutants is a well cooler name. The gang's made up of Robin Hood, with the power to steal anything he truly desires. Black Shuck, a girl who can transform into a demonic werewolf. Faye, a shrinking woman with a mesmerising fairy dust. Grindylow, a reptile man with all the powers of his scale brethren. And Dullahan, a living ghost with a detachable head. I literally just googled English folklore and chose like the coolest ones I found. A cabal of sinister billionaires known as the Hellfire Club hunt the X-Men down so they can steal their powers, setting them up against powerful villains the evil group have either hired or created. And all the while the X-Men search for more of their kind and for the reason behind the sudden superpower awakening. But these are all kids between 15 and 21, so there's gonna be drama, arguments and infighting. But with their shadowy enemies having such vast resources, they're gonna need to watch over each other, or else their powers and their lives will be taken from them. I didn't want to just copy and paste Wolverine and his crew either, so I've taken more of a 2099 approach. We've got an all new roster with the familiar name, and also Dullahan Best Girl. And this lot, along with Spider-Man, are the main pillars of our new universe. Now we just need the smaller players. Maybe Blackpool can have a Daredevil. Ant-Man versus Nessie. If you lot have got any ideas, please let me know. We could have some proper fun with this.